Life's journey is all about finding balance. This vlog is about my journey to finding that balance, that inner peace and calm. Guys, I'm completely kidding. This is just a vlog where I try to be less overwhelmed. So. Hello, and welcome to yet another video with me. My name's Mackenzie. This is my channel, Think Too Much. I think today's vlog is going to be a reset vlog, but it's not going to be any normal reset vlog. This reset vlog is about like finding balance or re-finding balance because I am feeling a little bit overwhelmed in my life right now because there are just, I guess, different aspects of my life that are demanding kind of time and attention and energy from me all at the same time, and I don't feel like I want to or like I can give up any aspect of my life. I know I'm being very vague right now, I apologize. I don't want to give anything up right now, which just means I need to like renegotiate how I show up within those spaces and like how much energy and input is going into them. I'm gonna stop being so vague now. Basically, you know, there's the act of like needing to like live life as an adult, pay rent, I work, that's great. That's handled for the most part. And also like those terms aren't really negotiable, or like they were when I signed the contract. So that's not really a space where like I can renegotiate how much I show up. But the other parts of my life are, and those other parts include like planning my wedding, making social plans with friends, the YouTube thing, like hobbies, all that fun stuff. The apartment, like the state of the apartment, like whether we want to do updates, whether we need to clean, working out, just like all the things that like go into a normal functioning life. I think the things that are like really starting to feel a little bit overwhelming for me right now are the YouTube thing and the wedding thing. I think part of that is because the wedding thing is just like heating up. We're getting married in September. I posted like a video about wedding planning a while back, but that was like really at the start of the process, and now we're kind of like in the tail end. I don't want to say tail end, but we're in like the last third of the process, and I just think it's going to become a more consistent demand on our time and energy. So I kind of need to like make space in my life for that. The YouTube thing, like I think that's a combination of like trying to maintain a schedule that was maintainable when work was less hectic and the wedding stuff was like less demanding. Work is kind of chilling out, which is great, but the wedding stuff is still pretty demanding. So, and I don't know that that's gonna go away. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to make a video, a vlog that's kind of like interested in like resetting, but not like so much like resetting because my life is in shambles. Kind of resetting and like resetting my expectations and like priorities in kind of the parts of my life that are negotiable. Just like make sure they kind of align with like how I want to be showing up, if that makes sense. I think it can be really easy to get like bogged down in like the day-to-day of like, I need to do this, I need to do this, really want to do this. And like, because you're so in the details and like in the granular, you're not really zooming out and like recognizing, oh, well, if I focus too much time and energy on this, then I am like kind of foregoing the opportunity to spend time on this or the opportunity to accomplish this other thing in the way that I wanted to. So the theme of this vlog is going to be me kind of zooming out and like figuring out how I want to approach these aspects of my life, more specifically like the negotiable ones, like the wedding stuff, the social stuff, the workout stuff, the YouTube stuff. I'm kind of zooming out and figuring out how I want to show up for these things at this point in my life with the kind of time, energy, and attention that I have. So. I'm on my lunch break now. I'm going to go to the gym. So I was really kind of going back and forth on whether I should go to the gym or do YouTube stuff today. I've taken like a brief hiatus from the gym because the last berries class I took kicked my ass. So I needed like some time to recover because I couldn't walk. My hamstrings were so sore. Anyway, I would like to get back to the gym, but I have the dilemma of social plans this evening, the desire to go to the gym, and the desire to post this YouTube video that I was hoping to get up today. And I'm going to go to the gym for my lunch break, which means I probably won't be able to post my YouTube video until tomorrow or the day following. In the name of like balance, in the name of kind of like honoring the intentions I kind of set out for my week, I had decided over the weekend that I think something that makes a lot of sense for me is to focus on like the amount of time I put towards the YouTube thing rather than like the outcome. And the reason for that is that like as I've gotten better at video editing, my like standards for myself have gotten higher, and I've definitely gotten faster, but in some ways that's like really slowed me down because like I want every video to be like as great as I can make it. And just like as a result, I think it's been a little bit harder to like kind of maintain consistency. And like that's something that like I think I need to work out, but I'm not going to work it out if I just keep allowing myself to like spend all my time or all my spare time on YouTube, if that makes sense. So I'm going to the gym for my lunch break because I am challenging myself to kind of like honor the intention I set at the beginning of the week, which was to only focus on spending like 2 hours on YouTube a day. And beyond that, like, that's fine. That's why I'm going to the gym right now. Long-winded explanation, but I have honored my kind of time commitment for YouTube, and I'm going to just accept that, like, it took longer than I expected, and because of that, I'm probably not going to be able to post today. Good morning. I'm back to editing this morning. I was editing a little bit last night, but yesterday I didn't really check in at all, but I had like a really intense work day. So it was like, I had to start work early, and so I just didn't really get the chance to like edit in the morning, and then I wanted to edit at night, but it was just such a long day that I had like little to no energy. So I didn't put in like the 2 hours. Cause you know, I was like thinking I would do like 2 hours a day. Couldn't do the 2 hours yesterday. So I was like just genuinely really exhausted. And I guess that's kind of like an interesting insight to add to this little like week of like balance. It's like I feel like it was kind of important for me to listen to my body in that moment, especially because like, I don't know, at this point in my life, when I'm like really tired, if I'm like really run down, I will start to have like cold-like symptoms. And it's so weird because I like won't have a cold, it won't like fully develop, but like I'll get like a sore throat. And like, I'm sure it means something much more medical and scientific, but in my mind, it's like, oh, my body's just like screaming at me to like rest. So anyway, I did a little bit of editing last night, but I saved most of it for today. So I'm just trying to kind of like take the L, or like accept the fact that like this video couldn't go out midweek, it's going out at the end of the week. But I think it was kind of important for me to kind of check in with myself and like listen to my body in that moment. Good morning. I didn't really film any of like the latter half of my day yesterday. I feel like it just kind of caught up to me. I feel like that can happen with Fridays sometimes. Like it's always kind of a weird work day. I guess I don't really know why. It was like the week after like a really busy period. So when I'm like coming off of like a really busy period, I want to kind of like get right back to that normal cadence of like, okay, here are my like regular to-dos and like my normal projects, whatever. But there's just kind of like a lot of organization and like sifting and prioritization that needs to happen. It's like I can't just like get right back to it because like it's like not as organized as I want it to be, and there's like probably people who I need to get back to, so like the workload is still like heavier than normal, if that makes sense. Anyway, so that was kind of like an interesting thing to observe at work all week, especially kind of considering the theme of this video. Even though like the work, like the kind of boundaries and like energy put forth for work is like less negotiable than like the other parts of my life, I do feel like mentally there are some things I can kind of like renegotiate in terms of like expectations I have for myself. So for example, you know, in a week after like a really busy period, kind of understanding that like that week there should be time set aside for kind of like reorganizing and like getting back into like the normal cadence of things, rather than just like assuming I can move on to the next project and get a bunch of stuff done. But I think I just realized that it's like during these kind of recovery weeks, like I can't expect myself to just like, well, and honestly this is all relative, but during this recovery week, it was an unfair expectation to have of myself to be able to kind of get to all the little things that I hadn't been able to get to throughout the period, because there just like wasn't enough time in the week for that, while also prioritizing like things that needed to be prioritized. Now I'm kind of figuring out what to do. I don't think I want to jump right back into the editing thing. And I think in the spirit of balance, I might do some straightening. Our apartment's like a little messy and I would love to address that. And I feel like I have the energy for it this morning, which is wonderful. And we don't have plans till later this afternoon. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so definitely not as late of a start as yesterday, but probably still starting the day later than I would have liked. As you saw from the video, after straightening up, we went to this like farm thing in Brooklyn. Like it was like on the river. So that was interesting. We couldn't stay for long because we kind of had an early birthday dinner to attend for my friend's birthday. And that pretty much took us through the rest of the night because we did drinks after. And that's probably also why I had a slow start this morning, because it was like many hours of drinking. And like, listen, I was reasonable, but yeah, I feel like mixing different booze not always the best recipe for waking up feeling great. So that's where I'm at. Today's major goals are, I wanted to do some journaling on kind of like how I want to find balance in my life, or just like, I don't know, I just want to like write shit down and I want to kind of see what comes up to kind of reassess like my priorities and like what I want my commitments to be and what I want my expectations for myself to be. I want to do that for like the wedding. I want to do that for YouTube primarily though. And then also with YouTube, I've been kind of playing around with this idea of like just like figuring out like systems more. Right now I'm kind of thinking like, well, it'd be kind of cool to do like kind of 4 types of videos, and that's just kind of the cycle I go on. So it's like a how-to video, a vlog, some sort of like human interest piece, something like visual and like kind of, yeah, like fashion or like interiors or something like that. I think it'd be fun to do kind of that cycle. And that's more or less like what I've been doing, just like not as much in a system. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for that, but I want to kind of like write that down and also kind of get clear on like what I want expectations for myself to be. And then I kind of also want to like journal through the lens of like, what is that? There's this like, it's like the triad of like things you can prioritize in your life. You know what I'm talking about? It's like this triangle, it's like your little priority triangle, and it's like you can only prioritize like 2 things in a given week. Like you can never have all 3. I don't know. So anyway, I will find that graphic. I will figure out what it actually is. And then also kind of like do some journaling through that lens and kind of see what comes up, see what like I need to kind of reorient my priorities and expectations to. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I journaled and I last recorded. I wanted to kind of hop on and add like a nice little conclusion to this video. After journaling, after putting pen to paper, there weren't any like new incredible discoveries. I think I just doubled down on what I'd already been kind of saying throughout the week, that the problem here is like the expectations I have for myself, and there are a lot of things that are kind of demanding my attention right now, and I don't want to stop, you know, paying mind to any one thing, which just means I'm just going to need to expect less output from myself in each space, if that makes sense. Like the wedding is not going to go away, right? I want to make sure we're kind of on top of that, and I've been feeling good about the wedding, which has not necessarily been the case throughout like the planning process, but I'm feeling good about the steps that we're taking and the strides that we're making, and like I want to continue to stay on top of it. So that's not going anywhere. The YouTube stuff, like I'm still enjoying, I still want to do, and it's kind of important to me to like keep up the channel and be like at least somewhat consistent, but I might not be able to be as consistent as I was before. And then the work stuff obviously isn't going away. The working out stuff's like not going away. Just like, you know, wanting to kind of maintain all of these things requires understanding that like I am just a human with like limited time, limited attention, limited energy, which means, you know, if I want it all, I will just have to accept like the output that I can produce given the kind of finite resources of time and energy. So that is, I guess, like the major takeaways from the journaling and the major takeaways from like the week more generally. Because I think I actually have been pretty balanced, is the funny thing. I just need to rejig my expectations. Like, I think it's my kind of thoughts and feelings that are making me feel like overwhelmed. Anyway, that's, yeah, the major takeaway from the week. This has been a really fun vlog to make and edit. I hope it's been fun to watch. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I post content like this, and generally I feel like the channel is devoted to just kind of like life in your 20s. It's called Think Too Much because I like to overthink things. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.